Hi, I'm Persia Swift, founder and creator of Baltimore Inside Out. I'm also a local realtor here in Baltimore, Maryland. I work in all of the surrounding counties and areas. So if you're looking to find information, tips, and strategies for moving to Baltimore, you've come to the right place. Stay tuned. If this is your first time to the channel, welcome. And if you're here because you want to know everything that there is about living in Baltimore and its surrounding areas, make sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell notification so that you can be alerted whenever there are new videos on the channel. I'm Persia Swift. I'm a local Maryland realtor and I work in the Baltimore metro region, so Baltimore City, its surrounding counties and areas. And I've been doing this for 4 years, helping people just like you thinking about making transitions to Baltimore, Maryland, or to its surrounding counties. And I love it. So whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, make sure to give me a call, send me a text. You can email me. There's a link for a Zoom call below. Just get in touch with me and I would be more than happy to help you make a smooth move to Baltimore or one of its surrounding counties. Okay, so our topic today are the pros and cons of living in Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm here to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, the ins and outs so that you know exactly what to expect if you're thinking about moving to Baltimore. And this is going to be city specific. It's not really going to address the county or outside counties like Howard, Hartford, those, but it's gonna be city specific. Pros and cons of Baltimore. Okay, I'm gonna start with the cons because I like to end on a high note and I don't like to dwell on the negative. I'm gonna expose it and talk about it, but I'm gonna end with the positive. And I do wanna say I am a transplant. I came from North Carolina. I got my first job out of college here in Baltimore and never left. So I think Baltimore gets a bad rap. I really do. There's so much charm, so much to love and enjoy about this city. So I'm not gonna harp on the bad stuff. I'm gonna let you know about it, but I also want you to take that with a grain of salt and know there's also so much good. So let's get into it. Okay, number one on the list of cons, we're starting with the cons. Number one on the list is crime. I'm not going to deny it. Crime exists. We have one of the highest murder rates and things like thefts and robberies happen. We are in an urban city, in an urban environment. And so you go anywhere that is similar and there will be those things happening. So crime is a reality. What I will say is there is not crime happening all the time everywhere. It's important to always be aware of your surroundings. If you're coming and you're moving here, to look at crime statistics and make sure that you are talking to professionals about where you feel comfortable and what types of environments you're feeling comfortable in. So number one is crime. Number two on the list of cons, I would say, is that poverty is visible. Baltimore has a pretty stark contrast sometimes between the haves and the have-nots. And so you will see homelessness depending on where you are. You will see people who are begging for money. You will see neighborhoods that have very little resources and that have a lot of boarded up and vacant houses. So that distribution of wealth in this city is not equal. It's not even. There are a lot of neighborhoods that are gorgeous and beautiful, but there are a lot of neighborhoods that are really underserved. That's probably what you've seen on The Wire and things that are highlighted about Baltimore, right? And so that poverty is visible, and I think for some people that might be a con. Number three, Baltimore is dirty. It's a dirtier city. I hate to say that, maybe like grimy, is that a better word? But it's dirty. Like on many occasions, and it's like one of my pet peeves, and I hate to say it even, but people throw trash out of their car windows, which is just like, why? Like you can't wait to go home. You can't go to the gas station and put it in a trash can. It like really drives me crazy. If seeing the occasional trash on the street, on the sidewalk, or being thrown out of a car bothers you, then it's definitely gonna be a con for you. Okay, another one on the con list is that public transportation is not that great. There are buses. There is a metro, like an underground train. I have never used it, so I don't even know where it goes. There's the light rail, which I've used. So I've used the bus, I've used the light rail, but they don't go everywhere. So it is the type of place where you are probably going to be reliant on a vehicle. Public transportation is not going to get you everywhere you want to go, and it's also not super reliable. Another on the con list is that public education is not super strong. I'm originally from North Carolina, and when I first moved here, my first job, all of my colleagues who had kids, their kids were in private school, and I was so confused. I was like, wow, that's different. You pay for your kids to go to elementary, middle, and high school? And I realized it's because public schools are not strong. So obviously there are certain jurisdictions that are known for having really strong public schools, like Roland Park, like Mount Washington. There's certain areas based on home prices and tax base that do have really strong schools, but a lot of the underserved neighborhoods or neighborhoods that don't have that strong tax base have struggling schools. So that's something to consider, especially if you have children and you're thinking about moving to the city and are considering schools. With that being said, there are a lot of charter schools and specialty schools that kind of bolster that public education system. So there are a lot of options for you if you have children and you're moving to the city. Okay, my last might not be a big deal if you are from the South like me, but there are really hot and humid summers here. So if you're not used to that, it's a little sticky. Temperatures can definitely get into the 90s and it's super uncomfortable. But I kind of love the summer and I like hot and humid weather, but it might be a con to some people, especially if you're coming from the West Coast or something like that and are not used to intense humidity. Okay, done with the cons. Let's focus on the positive. There are so many pros, in my opinion, to living in Baltimore. And number one is the prime location. I mean, we're on kind of in the mid-Atlantic, right in the middle of the East Coast. We are 3 hours driving distance from New York City, 45 minutes to an hour to Washington, D.C. Like I said, I'm from North Carolina. It takes me only 5 hours to drive to Raleigh. So we are in a prime location to kind of get to all different areas. I've driven to Montreal from here. I've driven to Toronto from here. I've driven to Boston from here. I've driven to Detroit from here. So there's so many places that are drivable from Baltimore, and it's just an excellent location. Okay, pro number two, I'm not gonna number all of these because there's a lot, but pro number two is that Baltimore is a really affordable area. Our average home price is under $300,000. And of course that's because, you know, some houses range, like you can buy one for $10,000, like a shelled out house, or you can buy something into the millions, obviously. But the average is $300,000. And I would say, you know, it's a very affordable place to live, cost of living wise. In fact, a lot of people are relocating from Washington, D.C. So they might work in D.C., but they know that the housing prices are so much more affordable in the Baltimore area that they're willing to move up here and commute. So the affordability of living in Baltimore is a pro for sure, especially in this economy and with home prices rising and rising and rising. Okay, another pro, in my opinion, is that there are so many beautiful neighborhoods in Baltimore to choose from. There are over 200 distinct neighborhoods in Baltimore City itself, and you have a range from row house communities to single family neighborhoods, places that feel more urban where you're not going to see any trees, places that feel super suburban that have big lots and lots of land, and they're all within the city limits. So one of the things I love most about Baltimore is there's something for everybody. It's just a matter of knowing where to look. So it's definitely a pro that you have lots of fabulous neighborhoods to choose from. Another pro is that there's a really lively art scene. There are always festivals. We have tons of museums. And it's really an artist town. We have MICA, which is the Maryland Institute College of Art. There's tons of local musicians. There's always shows, different events, things going on. So if you're into an artsy scene, this is the place to be. Next on the list of pros is there are lots of recreational activities to choose from. We're on the Chesapeake, we're near the water, there are rivers nearby. If you like the water, there's lots of things to do. People do kayaking, people do paddle boarding, people are sailing, all kinds of water sports. But then we have the Gunpowder State Forest. There's tons of things to do. Loch Raven Reservoir, lots and lots of things to do. Okay, another pro for sure is the food scene. If you know anything about Baltimore, you know it's known for seafood, specifically crabs. I love crabs. I actually was proud of myself, and the last time I had crabs, I picked like 5, and that's a lot for me. I prefer a crab cake. Go to Coco's for crab cakes. The seafood is amazing, but not only seafood, there's every kind of food that you could ever want, and there are a bunch of amazing restaurants. The culinary scene here is pretty amazing. So the food scene is a pro. Okay, I guess I'm ending on a weather note, but the last pro is that you have all 4 seasons here, which I think is really great. Summer, winter, spring, fall. I did those out of order, but you know, we get all of the seasons. I would say one year, I think it was 2009 when we had Snowmageddon, and that was crazy. Winters are becoming increasingly mild, so thank you global warming. So we haven't had a big snow in a while. Maybe we'll have one this year, who knows? But we definitely have a prominent fall and nice spring. We had a really long spring this past spring. So yeah, you get all 4 seasons. I'm getting off on tangents. I love the weather. There you have it, pros and cons of living in Baltimore. I promise you it is a fabulous place to live. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.